Hey everyone, it's Sandra, and today's video is going to be, as promised, a video recreating my wedding makeup. I did my own makeup, and since I got married at the end of September, I had in mind something a little bit more plummy than what I ended up wearing, but because the day and the week that we got married was so hot, it was not like fall weather at all. That kind of changed my plans a little bit, and I decided to go for something a little bit warmer, and I was a little bit more tan as well. Hopefully the foundation will still match me, but we'll make it work. When I had kind of figured out the makeup that I wanted to do, I was practicing the week before, and I was just basically doing the same makeup every single day to kind of tweak it and to kind of see what would work, to kind of get into the habit of achieving that look. I did start with the eyes, and this is just medical tape, and I like to do this when I get ready for like a really special occasion. I did it in a couple of Christmas tutorials before, but I like to just take some tape. Maybe I should get a mirror for this. That might be a better idea. I kind of just place it parallel to this portion of my eyebrow, just to kind of capture any fallout, and I feel like it also just helps me get the angle right for my eyeshadow. Urban Decay primer potion on my eyelids. This is my favorite eyeshadow primer, and I've tried a lot, and this is just the one that I keep going back to. I wanted to use my favorite eyeshadow palette, and I have not used this on my channel in quite some time, but it's still my favorite, and this is by Peau, and it's just all my favorite things in an eyeshadow palette. In order to add a little bit more warmth and just a little bit more smoky definition, I use some colors from the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette. These two colors here, Chaser and Sauced, are my favorites. They're just such wonderful transition colors for me, and I absolutely love the texture of them. They blend really, really well. And then I also used these two darker shades here, Ember and Ashes. This is what I used to kind of smoke out my lash line, and I also used it a little bit as an eyeliner. So I'm starting with Urban Decay Chaser on a fluffy brush, and I'm not being very precise with this. I'm just slapping it on. Blend and hope for the best. And I just take this all the way to the corner because I have that little shield there, so it will make sure that I stop where I'm supposed to stop. Then with the same brush, I went into the shade Sauced, and I just applied it on the outer corner. We got married at City Hall in New York, and it was such a fun experience. The day was amazing. Even the day before when we went in to get our marriage license, it's so cool to be there, and you're surrounded by other couples doing the same thing, and you see people from all walks of life, and it was just a lot of fun. It was such a cool experience. Now I'm taking this color here from the Peau palette, and I'm applying it all over the lid and taking it a little bit up here too. Just kind of want to create a nice cloud of color. Then with a more precise crease brush, I'm taking this darker taupey, and I'm actually mixing it with this slightly shimmery plummy shade, and I'm applying this to the outer corner just to get a nice little gradient in there. What I love about that Peau palette is how easy it is to work with. This is a Sephora brush. It's number 17, and I think they discontinued it because I got it on sale a few years ago, and I haven't seen anything similar, which is unfortunate because this is a wonderful brush just to do like detail work in the outer corner. It's nice and soft as well. I was going to wear my wedding dress for this video, but knowing me and my luck, I would have just spilled foundation on it or something, so I decided against it. I'm just wearing this white top instead. But I am wearing, this is the jewelry that I wore on my wedding day. It was passed down to me from Michael's grandmother, who unfortunately passed away earlier this year. She wanted me to have these, and these belong to her. So it was really special to wear them. I think they're so beautiful. Then I'm gonna take a little bit of that brown shade and just kind of go over things a little bit. And now for the fun part, I'm taking the shimmery shade here on a flat brush and adding a little bit of shimmer to my lid. I'm just packing it on. Then we can take this off. Take this off carefully because You don't want to tug too hard at your skin. And then I just kind of take my fingers and soften that line. Then on a smoky brush, I'm taking this shade, then I'm gonna go in with this shade, then I'm gonna go in with this shade and just kind of create a smoky lower lash line effect to kind of tie in my lower lash line with what we did on the top. One layer at a time. So I did one layer of the brown and now I'm going in with the darker plum shade. I'm taking the same brush and dipping it into the dark shades here on the Naked Heat palette, Ember and Ashes. And I'm very carefully going to use these colors as a very subtle eyeliner, but just on the outer corner. I'm not taking it all the way in, just a tiny little bit, just to smoke out that outer corner. And I'm just going to blend it out with this little brush. And the eyes are almost done. I'm gonna move on to base. I didn't use a highlighter on this day. I wanted to have a glowy look, but I wanted the glow to be from within. I didn't want to have any obvious shimmer or anything like that, anything too frosty on my skin. So I'd use this Armani Prima. This is a wonderful glowy primer. It's an oil in gel texture. I just took a tiny amount of it and I only applied this on my cheekbones. If you have dry skin, you can use this all over your face, but I use it strategically just on the parts that I want to have that natural glow. Doing this encourages that natural shine to come through. For the foundation, I used the YSL All Hours foundation. I use this in the shade BD35. I really like this foundation. If I want my foundation to just look wonderful all day long without having to worry about it, without it feeling cakey, without it feeling like I have foundation on my skin, this is wonderful. So this is a great special occasion foundation. If you have oily skin, combination skin, I think this is worth a try. Out of all the foundations that I own right now, this is the one that gets the best lasting power. I would put this foundation on early in the morning and I would have it on for like over 12 hours and it still looked good at the end of the day. So I really enjoy this and I am having a good experience with it, but everybody's different. Some people hate it. Foundation is such a individual experience, but if you have a similar skin type as me and if the foundations that I've recommended in the past have worked for you, this might be worth a try. I really enjoy it. It has fragrance in it. It reminds me of YSL Taunt Resist. Taunt Resist was a foundation that I loved like 5 years ago, and this is very similar to that. Or if you liked Chanel Matte Lumiere back in the day, this kind of reminds me of those formulas, but it's a little bit more refined, a little bit more lightweight. I just use 2 pumps of this on the back of my beauty blender and I work it in. So it has that typical YSL kind of fruity scent. It also contains alcohol, like even the Chanel Vita Lumiere Aqua. You can tell in the smell which foundations have alcohol in them. A lot of the Chanel foundations have alcohol in them, the ones that are formulated for oilier skins. So if you have very sensitive skin, if you have rosacea, you might want to stay away from foundation formulas that have a lot of alcohol and fragrance in them, as those can be quite irritating. Everybody's different and it's better to be safe than sorry. So this foundation is obviously a little bit darker because I'm not as tan as I was on my wedding day. We're gonna make it work, don't worry. It's buildable, so we're gonna do another pump. It's like medium to full. But what I like about it is that it's really thin. It blends out to really nice thin layers, and it also has a smoothing quality to it. So if you have acne scarring and an uneven skin texture, this will kind of glide over the texture and make it look less obvious. I apologize in advance for how long this video will be. I just want this to be kind of like a chatty casual vibe. So I'm using the Too Faced Born This Way concealer in the shade Light. And I'm going to use more of this than I normally do, just so I can lighten my complexion a little bit. So after City Hall, we just took fun pictures in some of our favorite spots in New York City. Where the City Hall is it's like between Soho and the financial district. So it was really close to the Lower East Side, which is one of our favorite spots. We walked on the Brooklyn Bridge, which was it was such a fun experience doing that, because It was just us and our photographer. Our parents, they went back to the restaurant to wait for us, and it was just us walking on the bridge and taking these photos, and you just have all these wonderful strangers shouting out congratulations, and it was such a fun experience. It was definitely the happiest that I felt ever, I guess. It was such a weird feeling. It's a type of happiness that I have never felt before. It was just, I felt like a little kid. It's that type of really youthful happiness feeling. That's kind of how I felt all day. This is the Burberry contour stick. This is the easiest, most subtle, most flattering contour product. It blends in so easily. It's not obvious. A lot of our photos she did in black and white, and some of my favorite photos of the day were actually in black and white. Setting the under eye area, Laura Mercier brightening powder. Took the shade Ounce on a really fluffy Laura Mercier brush, and I just used it a tiny little bit of it just to kind of create a very subtle brow definition. The hyperpigmentation that is still showing through, I'm using NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer. Just add a tiny bit of extra coverage. I set the rest of my face with the By Terry Hyaluronic Hydra Powder. Now that I know how to use it, just a small amount, warm it up on the back of the hand before applying it. I've grown to like this powder just because the oil control is fantastic. For bronzer, I used the Bare Minerals Invisible Bronzer in the shade Tan. For blush, surprise, surprise, I used Too Faced Baby Love, slightly peachy, slightly rosy blush. My hair actually looked really similar to this. I just did my go-to waves. Did not do anything special for the eyebrows. This is Anastasia, dark brown. Some tight lining. And I also did my lower waterline with my favorite eyeliner of the year. This is Marc Jacobs. It's called Earthquake, and it's just such a deep, rich, matte, dark brown. These are the best eyeliners. I'm gonna add just a tiny little bit more definition. I feel like I had a little bit more smokiness going underneath here. So I'm gonna take this shimmery plum shade from the Clay to Peau palette. For mascara, I'm so happy I found this combination because this combination was so good. I didn't even feel the need to wear false eyelashes. I was so happy with it. These are the Japanese Power Curl. So this is the Little Black Primer from Estee Lauder and the Sumptuous Infinite Mascara, and they did not budge. They're not waterproof, but I cried. I was crying like a little baby during the ceremony, and I did not get the Lauren Conrad black mascara tears running down my face, which was very nice. But this Little Black Primer is amazing. I like it even more than my Lancome eyelash primer, so this will be my go-to primer from now on. First of all, it's black, which is nice, and it has a curved shape, so it gives you really nice lift. I mean, you can even just use this by itself for a very subtle daytime mascara look, or you can layer it with a mascara. So this is the Estee Lauder Sumptuous Infinite Mascara. Like, do you see that? Do you see my lashes right now? Every time I put this combination on, I'm like blown away because I don't have good eyelashes at all. I have very mediocre lashes that they're not too long, not too voluminous. They were just kind of there. I was a little bit extra and I used 3 different products, but like I mentioned, I did not reapply. I did the Cannelle lip liner. This is in the shade 68. It's called Rose Poudre, and I don't think they make it anymore. It's just a rosy lip liner that matches my natural lip color. Then for my main lip color, this is another My Lips But Better color. Unfortunately, this is also discontinued, but it's an all-time favorite of mine. And if you've watched my channel for a long time, you will remember this. What was this called? This is the Rouge Addict Extreme. Unfortunately, this formula is no longer available from Dior, but the Burberry Full Kisses formula is almost identical to this. And they have a shade called Nude Blush that's very similar to this. So if you want to get this look, you're on the hunt for a really nice My Lips But Better nude pink lip, check out Nude Blush from Burberry. I did want to add just a little bit more rosiness, and I actually have this little baby lipstick from Charlotte Tilbury. I contemplated buying the full size just for my wedding day, but I thought, you know what, I mean, I can use up the little one, and then once I use this up, I can buy the full size because the color is amazing. It's the Matte Revolution lipstick in the shade Amazing Grace. This was from a Christmas set that she did last year, but I'm just taking it on my ring finger, and I'm just dabbing it on the center of my lips. That's it. My perfume was Tom Ford Santal Blush. And this is the finished look. This was my bridal makeup look, and I feel like it looks like the type of makeup look that I do quite often anyway, but it's just a little bit more finessed, a little bit more put together. But my hair was, it was like a little bit more polished than this, but still, by the end of the day, it was so windy out and we were outside taking pictures for a couple of hours that it just looked like kind of like beachy and messy and wavy anyway. I hope you like this look, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.